Now we're going to talk about stem cells. So first, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I got really interested in holistic medicine from the very start of my career in 1993. Always looking for a solution that was a better solution. And about 5 years ago, my father, who's also a physician, he was having difficulty getting up and down. Okay. And we did a few medical procedures that were kind of natural. It's like a jelly. It's called chondroitin sulfate, and there's different names for it. Rooster tail and soup hearts are some of these names, but it does aid the person in getting kind of like a disc back in the knee, but it doesn't last permanently.
Okay.
And so usually it takes 2 or 3 injections over the course of a year or two, and then it stops working altogether. So he had gotten to that point.
Okay.
So I realized that there had to be a better solution and started really looking into it. He's an athlete. I really wanted him to have his quality of life back. And he's a tough guy, so he never really told me. I had to notice it. Mm-hmm. And as I started to query, well, are you riding your bike anymore? No, I can't bend my knee up. Oh, are you jogging anymore? No, I'm not doing that. We had so many no's, and I was in shock that I had missed all these things. But I found a solution in Germany where we could go and take his stem cells out and grow them. So a couple things that I knew and why I didn't really pursue in the United States was we can't take them out of our own body and grow them. It's not legal. We can't grow them. We can't take them out and grow them. We can't put them back in after they're grown. So, and we can't add anything to them. And even though stem cells have a lot of great potential, they need all the building blocks. Like if you look at a seed that goes in a garden, if you just put that seed in the air, nothing's going to happen. Well, stem cells very similar. It needs dirt, it needs water, it needs air, it needs sunlight, and those aren't the true things that it needs, but it needs things, and we'll get into those. So I kind of knew that it wasn't maybe the best solution to do what we could do in the United States, and so we decided to go to Germany and spend $50,000 to have the procedures done for him.
Wow.
And I continued my research, and I found out that we could get all those wonderful things that I can't find in my own body when it's taken out of me by using the placenta of a baby. So the thing, you know, the sac that wraps around the baby, not the baby itself, the amniotic sac.
And you get this from women after
so
childbirth.
what has to happen it's completely regulated by the FDA and the American Association of Tissue Banks. And there's a protocol. There's a lot of testing protocols. There's safety protocols while it's happening. And the baby has to be born healthy. Has to be healthy or the placenta is not used.
Okay.
But that placenta itself is full of not only stem cells, but it's full of all the other things that the body needs to grow. You could think why, because it's growing a baby. That's the garden, right? Wow. So all the things that you need are right there, and these are there's over 3.
And how do you get, just out of curiosity, do you buy these from women, or the women don't even know?
This is not me.
I know, but
this is what I found. So there's actual companies that are regulated by the FDA who can take this placenta and pull all the great stuff out of it and put it into an injectable.
Wow.
And as I looked at that, I thought, well, this is way better because it's got all the garden. Like I said, it's 3,000 different proteins that it has. All of them have anti-inflammatory and healing effects. Some of them we don't even know what they do, but the ones that we do, we know that they're wonderful and they're beneficial. It has that jelly-like substance I was talking about, hyaluronic acid. It lubricates the joints. And then stem cells.
Okay.
So, and these are young stem cells. So the other thing that I tell people about stem cells is as you get older, their ability to reproduce goes down. And at the age of 70, you're going to have basically 1/100th of the number of stem cells you had when you're 20. So you're talking hundreds of millions less. And not only are there less, but they don't like to replicate. They don't like to do things. So that's called a process called senescence. So we get old cells that don't want to replicate, and there's not a lot of them out of an older person. And it starts at really 40. It starts to decline significantly. By 60, it's too much, in my opinion, and 70 for sure. So this younger solution with the young stem cells.
Very young.
And, the youngest there is. So the most prolific, that means they make more quickly. So we went to our clinic in Atlanta. We did the injection. It was 2 days before we were supposed to leave for Germany, and on the flight home, less than a few hours, he was jumping up and down on the plane.
Oh, you're kidding.
So it was amazing, and I couldn't believe it. I expected something.
Wow.
But it was so dramatic that he canceled the doctor's visit and the whole 7 days of treatment and got a $50,000 refund. And we walked around Germany for 7 days, and it was off of one injection.
Oh, wow.
So at this point, that's kind of how I entered this area. And then I went on the road and started lecturing all over the country. And now we have about 650 clinics that we work with to make sure that they have the best products available.
So there are all different levels of stem cells, is what you're saying.
There are different sources.
Stem cell products.
And then even if you hear, like I'll mention a few sources today, but there's different companies that have entered this market, some just because it's financially remunerative and they don't have a very great product.
And where do they get their stem cells from?
They get them from the same place, but how they manufacture and the percentage that they put in is not regulated. Well, the manufacturing process is, but the percent that they give isn't.
Wow.
So you could think that you're getting the same product from one distributor compared to another that's 1/100th of the percentage.
You mean a totally watered down product.
Yeah, so when people tell me it didn't work, I automatically know to ask this first question: which product was used? 9 times out of 10, the patient doesn't know. I haven't tracked it.
I wouldn't even ask.
I give them a list of here's the ones I suspect it is, and almost 100% of the time, 99.9% of the time, it's one of those products. So that's when I met Jonathan, like I said, 4 years ago, and he took on the Tramiel thing. I knew that he wanted to make a difference. So one of the things that I do for him is, and my team of medical researchers, medical doctors and researchers, is to find the best product and evaluate that percentage and make sure it's the highest potency possible. And those are the products.
Are doctors aware that they're buying product with low potency?
They really aren't. They're so used to salespeople, and the salespeople come in and tell them what they tell them it's the best, tell them it's the most concentrated. Those salespeople don't know the other products, so they feel very confident what they're saying is true. But that's how they're introduced. Whoever the first salesperson hits their door is, and the ones who have the more profitability, guess what? They have more money to spend.
Is there a difference in price of different brands?
So what they can do is, if they decrease the concentration, that means they can make 1,000 more than I make. Let's say at a higher percentage. So when I sell it at the same price as this guy, I'm making 1,000 times more money than this guy. So I can spend all of that on marketing. That is, by the way, the same thing as a drug company. They do have the research, but the actual manufacturing cost of that drug is peanuts. But they make their money because the research, or they're the only one who can do it.
Right.
So that tactic is used by now some drug companies that have entered this game that are financially based. And the first people in this game, because it's been around for what you don't know, and Jonathan knows, is it's been around for 20 years. This option has been around for 20 years. But until myself and a few other pioneers decided to take the message to the patients, because doctors weren't understanding it, but when patients start to demand it, then doctors start to jump on the bandwagon. And that's fine with me. I just want them to have the best.
Yeah. Oh, as a patient, I would definitely want to have a product that was much stronger. And so the patients don't even know usually what they're going to pay the same price. They're just getting stem cells.
That's right.
And the patient is charged the same, or the insurance company is charged the same, depending.
Usually they're charged the same.
So the profit is for. Who makes the profit then if you use the cheaper?
Well, the drug company or the manufacturer makes a lot of profit, and then the doctor makes the same profit. They wouldn't make any more. They're going to pay the same, so their profit's the same. They just don't know that there's a better product out there.
There's no reason for them not to use
the better product. They don't really know.
It's,
I don't blame the doctors in any way. I'm just glad that they're even entering this foray instead of trying to just give drugs. But they also have the ability to find out that there's better drugs, better stem cells, better options. That's our job. Jonathan makes sure that we have the absolute best, or demands it of me, or demands it of Max. Whoever works for him, he wants the best. So I think it's part of, he is German. I think part of this German mentality, he's raised with Mercedes. He's raised with the best. These are the best engineers.
Quality.
Well, they are, and I see it in him every day.
I'm German, Jonathan.
Yeah. So me too. So, but the demand for the highest quality, that precision German engineering, he's proud of that. There's Mercedes all over his house. He's proud of that. His son is at the Mercedes Engineer School. He's proud of that, and he demands out of this company. So I think that doctors can trust the fact that when they go to him to find a product, whatever one we're talking about, it's the best that's on the market.
So we just have to educate the doctors then that there's a difference in.
And the patients just have them demand it.
Right.
Hey, how do you
That's
know this
why a lot
is the best?
of advertising on TV is directed directly at the patient to go and ask the doctor for the product.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
And what are the different applications for the stem cell treatment?
Well, so far reaching. we have the FDA still to contend with. So their viewpoint on treating conditions with stem cells is not clearly defined yet. They have taken a stance that they don't want us to make claims that aren't proven.
Okay.
Well, if you go and look at research on stem cells and you look up any condition, whether it's digestive, neurologic, Alzheimer's.
It works on Alzheimer's?
Whatever one you look at. If you just go on government.gov and type it in, you will find hundreds, if not thousands, of research studies that have been done in this country, but a lot of them in Japan and Germany and overseas. The people that are of different nationalities don't have better success rates than Americans. So if it's true there, it's true.
Right.
And so the far-reaching effects of stem cells is better understood by knowing how they work. Mm-hmm. So a stem cell goes in, and when it sees an area that it is inflamed, usually what happens is there's a protein called a cytokine. And that's, again, one of those proteins that's in the amniotic tissue. But if you just get adult stem cells, you don't also get this. Okay. So this is like, it's like a magnet for the stem cell. But what it does is it targets and seeks out any area of inflammation. So if your nerve is inflamed, it's going to attach to an inflamed nerve. If your cartilage is inflamed, it's going to attach to that cartilage. If the bone's inflamed, whatever area or tissue is inflamed, it's going to attach. And as soon as it does, it starts to chemically signal. That's just like a loudspeaker saying to all stem cells, hey, come over here, I need your help. And this process is called chemotaxis, but that's exactly what it is. It's just chemically signaling, telling stem cells to come.
Okay.
So they'll come and attach to whatever is on the surface of that and become that material. Mm-hmm. So if you have a joint that has 3 areas of problems, cartilage, bone, and nerve, it'll attach to all of those and call them over.
Wow.
But if, on the other hand, there's no nerve involvement, it's just cartilage, it'll just attach to cartilage. So it's literally a smart bomb, but only if you have the proteins. Mm-hmm. So understand that if you just put stem cells in, they would stay in that joint for about a minute, maybe 10 minutes. And if we took a picture after 10 minutes, they'd all be gone. So whatever kind of attach quickly, and then the rest will float away. Whereas if we use the amniotic tissue, the cytokines, we can take that picture an hour from now, and they're all just sitting in there. Lovely.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's really important to know that. And a lot of doctors that even do some of the adult stem cell work don't know all that, or because they're not allowed to add it, just don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay, so you use it, obviously, knees, joints. What about cosmetic surgery, cosmetic applications?
So,
that's big in Boca Raton.
I'm going to tell you. So there is a stem cell documentary that's out there called The Healing Miracle. Mm-hmm. In that, you'll see some of the top doctors in the country who have been interviewed. 3 of them are plastic surgeons. One is Dr. Mark Berman from Beverly Hills. Okay. One is Dr. Cohen from San Diego. And the other one, and a personal friend of mine who works on all of my family, is Dr. Andrew Kornstein. And he's out of New York. Okay. And what they can do is they can use stem cells and do needle surgery, so no scalpel, and they can achieve the same results without any of the look of plastic surgery. You know, whether you call it the tight look or whatever.
You do a facelift with stem cells?
The facelift is, if you go on their websites, and you'll see that they literally have 20 years this progressed and they look the same. So that
you inject this into the face?
Yeah, what people don't understand, it's not really your skin that breaks down first. It's your bone. It's your bone that breaks down first. Okay. And as that breaks down, that starts to cause the skin changes.
Yes.
And then we get the dehydration, all that. So stem cell does the opposite. It's like a house.
It can repair decaying bone in the face?
Just look at it this way. You know how we all have this in Florida, termites. Mm-hmm. So termites are in the house, and the house still looks beautiful. But at some point, the house goes in. Same thing with our face. The bone has termites, if you will, and the stem cells go in and fix all that and put the filler back in. So stem cells work
by injecting it into the bone?
That's right. So you can have the option. You tell me what you would prefer. Now, you can have this surgery done where they take the stem cells out of your body, or you just buy these stem cells. So
I want the baby stem cells.
Yeah, you want the young stem cells. Who wants the young stem?
My old stuff.
So it's just a wonderful thing. So we have all these products.
That is amazing.
And depending on the application, we have a different product. So I like to just kind of go over so your audience really knows that a stem cell isn't a stem cell. And what I mean by that is everyone's going to call all of these stem cell. But they're all different and have different reasons. So the first one is called amniotic tissue. Okay. And the doctor's probably going to call it stem cell, but it's amniotic tissue. And amniotic tissue has tons of cytokines, tons of those healing proteins I was telling you about. and tons of the hyaluronic acid and some stem cells. Okay. So we use those in joints always. Then the next product comes from the cord itself. It's called Wharton's jelly, and this is, by research, the most highly prolific and best mesenchymal stem cells. The mesenchymal stem cells are the kind that make the body regenerate.
Okay.
There's other ones that come from blood called hemopoietic stem cells, but they make more blood, so they're not really for joints. So bone marrow makes blood. So bone marrow for joints maybe is not the best solution, and obviously you still want the young ones anyhow. So we use the Wharton Jelly's MSC to go into joints with the amniotic tissue. It's a double injection. Some doctors do both of those, but it's really expensive that way, so most don't. They pick one or the other. Medicus and Jonathan were the first to say to me, hey, why don't we have one that has everything combined? And I went, well, you know what? That's a wonderful look. Why don't we have that? So we went back to the labs and said, listen, we want this product. Well, we're going to have some FDA issues. Well, figure out how to make it happen, because this is what the public needs. This is one and done.
Why would there be FDA issues to do that?
It's just on how you manufacture and how you combine things.
Okay.
And that will be way too much of a conversation for us. It's this thick. Max would know. You know, when you deal with the government, it
took
never
6 months longer than they thought to get all the approvals.
Yeah. So, you know, it's never one page. So and it's not really worthwhile because we did it. And we did it legally. So so the only product on the market that has both put in together is at Medicus LLC. So that's exciting.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
It is.
And let me tell you something Brant has done that is going to help doctors themselves.
Okay.
Most doctors only get cash pay cash for stem cell treatment. Brant has all these doctors, and he and I have working together. We can get workers' comp to pay for stem cell treatment, which is unbelievable because we have an insurance carrier that is paying for stem cell treatment. Jonathan is blessed because of Brant that there are carriers, health insurance carriers, that now will reimburse for stem cell treatment thanks to these two brilliant guys.
But only if they're using the Medicus product, because that's the only ones that we've proven to be effective.
So for doctors in America, I'm an MGA in insurance in addition to being a lawyer.
Okay.
You have the opportunity to learn how to get health insurance to pay for stem cells and to get workers' comp. We are actually working right now with a new group that is putting together a self-funded health program to offer to businesses in America that will include payment of stem cell treatment based on protocols that are being written by the two geniuses on the other side.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, gentlemen.
It is. and I just want to cover these other products so everyone knows, because the next one scares me a bit and always has. And Dr. Beams, who is our medical director, he's a pathologist by trade. He's been doing regenerative medicine for 20 years. He was the first one to call us on it because so many people caught this bandwagon called cord blood. Cord blood is also just actually what it says. It's blood, and there's cells in there. And people buy these in units usually of about 30 million cells. Of that, 1 to 3% are actually mesenchymal stem cells. Okay. So the patients and the doctors are being told, these have 30 million. That guy down there only has 1 million. Well, out of 30 million, if it's 1%, that's only 30,000 stem cells. And if it's 3%, that's only 90,000 stem cells. The rest are just other cells. Okay. They could be skin cells, they could be blood cells, they're just cells. But the patients don't know that there's a differentiation. So in our product, there's 1 million mesenchymal stem cells, the best kind for the body, in each cc. Well, that's an unbelievable number. Wow. So it's 10 to 1. Remember I told you that 10 to 1 thing? Well, even though they say 30 million, his is 10 to 1 to theirs for what the patient's actually looking for. And last but not least, what Dr. Beam suspected could happen did. Just recently, the FDA closed the largest cord blood manufacturer down because they had E. coli in their product, and they infected many patients. Some of my own clients who didn't listen to me when Dr. Beams, or I should say Dr. Beams said, we're not going to recommend cord blood at all. We're going to stay away from it completely. We got off the phone last night with 3 of my California doctors who have one patient who's still in the hospital. One of our own doctors was so frustrated with these complaints and saying it wasn't true, it couldn't be the product, that he injected himself. He didn't actually do it. He had someone inject the product, and the next day his knee blew up. It's been 3 weeks, and he's still walking on a cane. Oh. So they went to that manufacturer and said, we are out. And they called me yesterday and said, look, we're going to go back to your product. We should listen to you the first time. So I want to be able to make sure that we help doctors understand, and patients, because they could be the recipient of that not so great product. The largest distributors of cord blood, as far as doctors go, was Florida and California. So many patients in this state may have already had that type of treatment. And if you're considering it and that your doctor's using it, I can tell you that we're on the phone with these distributors who were distributing cord blood who now want to use his product, and they're scrambling because so many people are complaining. So it's important that people understand that
to know
blood,
that there's a difference.
Well, blood, you know, that you're not just getting, you have the potential to get someone else's DNA. You have the potential to get other things as well. And obviously, that is a test that should have been done. The lab skipped doing the test, and that's what you do when you deal with the lab that cuts corners. You could get other problems. You could get other...
So they could have tested to see if there was E. coli.
It's a law, they have to. Now, the FDA is going to probably close this company down. But the thing is that the doctors don't know. It cost me $20,000 to evaluate a lab, a company that makes a product. Well, no doctor's going to be able to do that. So they're going to take the word of the person that comes in their office that is nice to them and tells them all the things they want to hear. And they can, because they're not put in writing. My first statement to any doctor that's looking, or patient, I want to see it in writing. I want to see it on the letterhead of the company. If they can't produce that, it's not true.
Right.
And that's the point.
Wow.
Okay?
Okay, again, so if anyone wants to ask for your product, they just tell the doctor that they want...
MedicusLLC.com. Yeah, just go to the website.
Correct.
And any doctor can get this product.
Yeah, after we verified him, all credentials, etc., that he can actually buy it. Yeah, correct.
Wow. That's
it's really
amazing.
exciting. So let me just tell you, because of my network, we get thousands of success stories every single month. Thousands. We have so many on our website and on our materials. We can't add them anymore. I have a loop of testimonial videos that I give to my doctors to play in the waiting room. It could be 50 hours long. It's just that we have so many testimonials. And yes, it doesn't work 100% of the time. Nothing does. And there's no guarantees. No doctor is allowed to give you a guarantee. But I can tell you, just from what I watch overall, because we see so many doctors doing this and we hear back, we have about 80% of patients feel a very good response, if not a complete seizure of pain in the first treatment.
Wow.
And if they don't experience that, if they get a second injection, we drop down to about only 5% who don't get a result. Well, you don't see that in medicine. No. And again, kind of like the Tramiel and Zeal, unless you're dealing with an inferior product or company that doesn't do the right testing, until this date, until that just happened, there was 0 serious adverse side effects in over 500,000 injections. And still we can claim that if we say amniotic or Wharton's jelly.
And there's a famous attorney doctor in America who has had a lawsuit. And in that lawsuit, he was able to get at trial, and he's before one of the state Supreme Courts, where future medical care included the cost of stem cell treatment. So if you have a plaintiff's case and you are a plaintiff's attorney, if you call us, we'll introduce you to the genius who figured out how to do that in law. And he can help you in your cases and can help your patients.
Interesting. So this, explain that again.
So what happens when you have a personal injury case? One of the elements of damages that you sue for are what are my medical expenses going to be in the future?
In the future because of that.
Reasonable, right?
Yes.
So this attorney, who happens to be an attorney and a doctor, came up with the brilliance to say, because he's looking at avant-garde things, how can I help a patient in the future? Well, they're stem cells. Stem cell treatment, the right kind of stem cell treatment.
It's added into the judgment.
Right.
To the judgment, so they have to,
Right.
So,
they get paid for it.
And let's be honest, from the plaintiff's attorney's perspective, it increased the value of the judgment, which increased the attorney fee that the plaintiff's attorney got. This attorney, I know, is one of the smartest attorneys I've ever met. I had a case against him. His first case as an attorney and a doctor, he kicked my butt. Kicked my butt. And this guy is a genius. So if you want to figure out how to do this in America, I know the guy who's the smartest attorney doctor in the United States.
Okay, so you can just message me on Becky and Boca Show Facebook, and I'll put you in touch. Okay, anything else? We have a few minutes left. Anything else? Any other applications for the stem cells?
Jonathan, you want to go over a few things? I mean, I know that there's more than one reason why you got into this field. And I know that you also have some amazing things that you're doing with cancer. We probably can't talk about that right now. but you've seen the videos. You've seen. Why don't you share a little bit? I'd love the audience to hear from you a little bit.
Well, I mean, I briefly can discuss here. We do have other products available. One is a veterinarian product that was actually by the USDA already approved, and we are treating as an immunomodulator or a biological response modifier. And the indication was for the treatment of lower respiratory disease in horses. And a lot of veterinarians, after they realized what's going on there, also started using it off-label. And they used it for very different things, for chronic diseases, for cancer, etc., with a huge success rate. And this same product, or I should say, the active ingredient in that product is in a human product that is going through FDA approval right now. It is already approved in Mexico, and we can treat patients in Mexico for any kind of chronic disease, autoimmune diseases, and with a very huge success rate. And it's a biological product. And this is what Medicus does. We are looking at natural and biological products. We don't want to have chemistry in there. We don't want to have the big pharmaceutical stuff in that makes us more sick or has more side effects than it actually does good. And what is very important on that product, and it's called Infabrium, is that it actually addresses the innate and the adaptive immune system and allows your immune system to recognize bad cells, like for example a cancer cell, and then attack that cancer cell, and so the body heals itself. And that's actually what it does. And on top of that, there is a memory cell that starts floating within your body, and in the future will always look for that specific target. If there is a cancer cell there, it will attack it and destroy it.
And this product is available now?
This product is not available in the US. It is available for treatment in Mexico, and as soon as we're here approved by the FDA, then it will be.
Is it cure for cancer?
Well,
I know that's
I'll answer that. It's a cure for a weak immune system, and when you strengthen the immune system so that it can find and fight all foreign cells, you eliminate disease.
Correct.
That's what happens.
Wow.
That's just basic science.
And I don't want to use the word cure, because
I know
the word cure
can't say
I've asked a lot of doctors that in this chair.
You can't say it. And plus, the last time cure was actually used was back about 65 years when penicillin came on the market and wiped out about 3,000 bacterial diseases. Our system is very funny. We have about 12,500 named diseases in this world, and 9 underlying causes for them, and they all go back to your immune system. So why don't we address the immune system instead of pumping us full with chemistry or going through chemo and radiation and all that stuff, when you can have another way that can help?
Okay, so this product you were talking about that's available only in Mexico now, is that something that it's being used to treat cancer, or is that something people can just take like a vitamin to make sure that?
No, it's not. You cannot take it like a vitamin. It's an injection, but it's only subcutaneous, so under the skin. Very simple and very effective.
But someone can't take that just to...
But it does have to be prescribed.
Yeah, I was going to say. Okay, but can it be prescribed
Absolutely.
for someone to inject themselves like monthly or something like that?
But let's put it this way. President Trump opened with the Right to Treatment Act a lot of doors there. So if there is a patient that has tried everything already and it didn't work, we can treat under that Right to Treatment Act. Passionate waivers, etc. That will work, but other than that, we are not allowed to market, and we don't market in the U.S. It's just like...
But it may be coming to the U.S. at some point.
It will.
Okay.
It definitely will.
We got to go. We're out of time here. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Very interesting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You have been watching and listening to The Becky and Boca Show. Tune in every Thursday night at 6 p.m. to discover all the ways to spoil yourself and have a good time in beautiful Boca Raton. See you next week.